What is going on, everyone? This is Eric coming at you from just outside of Hartford, Connecticut. And today, we're going to discuss the Orlando Pace trade, which occurred during the 1997 NFL Draft. Now, before I start discussing the trade, I do want to mention that it is Hall of Fame week here for Heartland Sports. Now, as I was doing research for player bios and trade breakdowns, I saw that there were 3 Hall of Famers selected in the first round of the 1997 NFL Draft. And as luck would have it, all 3 players were traded up for. So as a result, I decided to group all 3 of those trades together and put them in with the Hall of Fame class, the week that the Hall of Fame class is announced, while also adding a couple of player bios. So I hope you guys enjoy Hall of Fame week here at Heartland Sports. This is going to be the first trade. I will not go into this discussion about what it is, what Hall of Fame week is. It will all be linked in the description below. So without further ado, we'll start by looking at the trade. So this was a trade between the St. Louis Rams and the New York Jets. Now, basically, after Peyton Manning decided to stay in college for his senior year, the New York Jets, who had the top pick, decided to trade it away. Now, the St. Louis Rams made the best offer to the Jets, and they won the right to select Orlando Pace. Now, Pace is notable as he was an offensive tackle who was a Heisman finalist. That doesn't happen. Anyway, how did this trade work out? We will start by looking at the Rams, who, with the first overall pick, decided to pick offensive tackle Orlando Pace. Now, Pace was a key piece on the offensive line for years. He took the starting left tackle job towards the middle of his rookie year, and he just ran with it from there. He was as dominant as humanly possible for 3 years, in 1999 until 2001. He was just the best offensive lineman in the game. There's really no debating it at that point. Now, he would miss 6 games due to various injuries with his hamstring and calf in 2002, but he was still strong when he was playing, and he returned to his elite playing style in 2003. Now, he had another 2 very strong years, and then he had a solid start to 2006, but unfortunately, he would tear his triceps during the team's 8th game of the year. Now, the injury bug would strike once again in 2007 as he tore his labrum and rotator cuff in the first game of the year, and as a lineman, you need those. He had a solid year in 2008, but unfortunately, with all the injuries, a decline in play, and a high cap hit, the Rams released him prior to the 2009 season. He is still a legend in the franchise's history. He is a member of the greatest show on turf. He is a Hall of Famer. He was a 7-time Pro Bowler, a 3-time first-team All-Pro selection, a 1-time second-team All-Pro selection, and he is a member of the NFL 2000's All-Decade Team. Great selection by the Rams. What did the Jets get in exchange for this? So they got 4 picks from the Rams. The first, which was the 6th overall pick, this would be traded to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in exchange for a pair of picks. Now, the first of those picks was the 8th overall pick, which the Jets would use to pick linebacker James Ferrier. Now, Ferrier, he began his career as a starter, but he was moved to a backup role for the next 3 years. He would regain his starting job in 2001 and responded with a career year, recording career highs in tackles with 145 and forced fumbles with 3. Unfortunately for the Jets, his career year came during a contract year, so he walked as a free agent. The Jets also got the 104th pick in this trade, which they used to select running back Leon Johnson. Leon Johnson would register 90 carries for 345 yards and 4 touchdowns for the team across 4 years. He also added 29 receptions for 364 yards and a pair of touchdowns. He also served as a kick and punt returner when he returned 127 kicks/punts for 1,723 yards and a pair of touchdowns. After his rookie contract was up, he walked as a free agent. Not the best, not the worst. Now, the Jets also got 3 more picks still, the next of which was the 67th pick, which was traded to the Denver Broncos in exchange for 4 more picks. Fun! So the next pick that we have is the 88th pick, which was used to select wide receiver Dietrich Ward. Now, Ward was a backup for his first 2 years in the league, but he took a starting job midway through his 3rd year. He was solid in the year 2000, recording a career-high 54 receptions for 801 yards with 3 touchdowns, but once more, it was a contract year. He walked after this contract year explosion. Then they have the 191st pick, which they used to pick quarterback Chuck Clements. Now, Clements would appear in a single game, kneeling the ball twice before he was cut. Then they also got the 229th pick, which was used to select defensive tackle Jason Ferguson. Now, Ferguson, the team had high hopes for him when they picked him, and he was a backup as a rookie, but he took over the starting job for his second year. He responded well, as he would record a career-high 4 sacks. Unfortunately, he would test positive for steroids, and he would miss 4 games in the 1999 season. He rebounded well with a decent year in 2000. However, he missed the entire 2001 season with a torn rotator cuff. His next 3 years were also pretty solid, but then he would walk. Over 7 seasons with the team, he had 374 tackles and 20.5 sacks. Not bad for a 7th-round pick. Now, the Jets also got a 1998 6th-round pick in this deal with the Broncos. That pick would become the 183rd selection. With that, the team would select fullback Dustin Johnson. Now, Dustin Johnson didn't make the team. Now there's still 2 more picks that the Jets got from the Rams. The next, which was the 102nd pick, they would use that to select defensive end Terry Day. Day would appear in a single game, but he did not record any stats before he was cut. Lastly, the Jets also got the 207th pick, which was traded to the Philadelphia Eagles in exchange for defensive tackle Ronnie Dixon. Dixon would record 7 tackles over 5 games before he was allowed to leave the team via free agency. So that's how the Jets did. That's how the Rams did. How did the secondary teams do? So first things first, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now the Buccaneers got the 6th overall pick, and they would trade this away. Normally, we wouldn't even bother discussing this, but this 6th overall pick was used to select Walter Johnson. So this will be getting into a trade breakdown later this week. It will be linked in the description below once it is released. Next, we have the Denver Broncos, who got the 67th pick, which they would use to select offensive guard Dan Neal. Now, Neal barely played as a rookie, but he took the starting right guard job as a sophomore, and he would spend 7 years as a mainstay on the offensive line before he left the team. He was a 2-time Super Bowl champion. Lastly, we have the Philadelphia Eagles, who got the 207th pick in this draft. With that, they would select quarterback Koy Detmer. Now, Detmer would spend 9 years as a backup quarterback in Philly. He started 8 games over that time, going 3-5. All said and done, he threw for 1,944 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions. So the moral of the story is, if you wanted a good offensive lineman in the 1997 draft, I hope you traded with the New York Jets. This was the first video, like I said, of the Hall of Fame week. Hope you guys enjoyed this. This was the Orlando Pace trade. Have a good rest of your day.